Blessings and thanks for joining me on this journey to set the frame for your flow state. In today's class, we're going to be setting the container for our journey with working with our energy to balance being in your own solid energy, being in your own frame, right? And how that sets the energetic container or space within your own self in order to step into the flow or to allow the flow to come through. So the problem you might be facing is that you get tuned in and you get inspired, right? And you start to feel that momentum towards your manifesting, towards your conscious creation and what you're creating and expressing. But you come up against these blocks within your own energy. And this is within the energy centers, right? This is within the center of the voice. This is within the center of the power of feeling solid in your own sense of self. And what's powerful about this practice of energy work, right? Of balancing these energies, you could even say the masculine and the feminine, the solid and the flow, the frame and the flow, is that you start to be able to work through some of the denser energies. Like if you maybe feel some denser energies in your lower energy centers or chakras, or in the seat of your life force energy, right, in your lower abdomen, if maybe you're feeling like that inner fire is dwindling, then cultivating a daily practice. So this is for you if you've been having maybe struggling with keeping a consistent practice going that feels solid enough, or you could even say disciplined enough, or rigid enough for you to cohere to, and also fluid enough and adaptable enough for you to try out or explore or adapt to the energy of the day. And if you find yourself falling into that slump and you feel that inner fire dwindling, these practices of working with your life force energy and of clearing your consciousness, which will be going more into the next class, will help you more with that. But today, we're really setting the foundations for understanding how to be in your own frame and also how to set your frame to allow for the flow state. So the frame allows the creativity to flow, right? The frame is also like a picture frame. Like you're in the frame of your own reality. Like think of how there's a frame around this video, right? The actual content of me speaking to you in this video is happening inside of this frame, right? So think of the frame of your own perspective on reality as the picture frame or the video frame through which the content of your life flows. And this relates to also what you create, because life is a mirror and reflects back to you the inner contents of your vibration and how you see yourself. So if you struggle with feeling solid in your own energy, there may be some self-doubt voices coming up, or there may be some self-sabotage or simply perfectionism that is keeping you from just allowing yourself to express because you don't feel solid in your own frame of reality. But as you get solid in that, and as you process and you feel the emotions, and you shift your perspective, shift your consciousness using these tools, you're going to feel more grounded into your body, into the planet, and more connected to the higher consciousness, which is going to also, feeling that safety in the body, is also going to allow you to expand more in meditation, because meditation is transformation, because awareness is the conduit. So how did I learn this stuff? My story is that I always had a passion, a creative spark. And it was my refuge as a kid because of my connection to the imaginal realms. Now, I didn't fit in the world, and they thought, oh, well, there's something wrong with you, so you have this ADHD. And I went on medication while I was a kid for like 10 years. And I lost connection to that, and I became very depressed and lost in life up until I started coming of age and I started having my spiritual awakening. And learning meditation was a tool that helped me to focus and to regulate my own energy and nervous system so I wasn't so anxious all the time. I started having all of this inspiration flowing through me. And this led me on a journey of going deeper into metaphysics and self-development and connecting with spirit. I realized that I'm here to, like, my passion, by pursuing my passions, my purpose will find me. That was really the message that I had, is that your heart's desire, it's like when you commit yourself to that quest, the universe starts sending you these cooperative components, signs and synchronicities, information, courses, people, places, whatever it is that you need in order to help you along that journey of awakening. And so I devoted myself to that journey, and I started to learn these practices of how to work with my energy and how to clear my consciousness and how to integrate the light and the shadow, so that I started to free up. And I noticed there was this clearing in my central channel, and that's like the prana tube, or the energy center, the major energy center in your central nervous system as well, that moves up the center of your body. It is your spine. And so I started experiencing this awakening, or this raising of having more energy, and also how, like, this would affect my levels of inspiration and creativity as I started meditating every day. And I started to also clean up my diet and heal with relationships. I realized that a lot of the patterns I experienced earlier in life, having that kind of empathic overwhelm of always taking on other people's energy, was related to how I didn't feel safe to be myself in my own body because of certain abandonment wounds that I had earlier in life, and probably before. That was some kind of like thing, a life lesson that I came here to learn, which is to be, my true self. So I was very shy. I had a shy identity. I had very much, my voice was very constricted. It was difficult for me to speak even in small groups of people, let alone to large groups of people and to anyone who wants to see it online. And went through this process of clearing and healing my voice and learning how to sing and write poetry and traveling and teaching at workshops, at events, and going on this journey. A big part of what transmuted that for me was stepping into my own power and sharing my gifts in medicine with others. So whenever there was receptivity, even whether it was on the street, just meeting someone at a cafe, or it was like I was getting invited to share something at an event, I would take that opportunity and I would work through the energy patterns that came up inside myself, around my solar plexus, around my throat, around my heart, around feeling safe in my own body, around feeling received, around feeling seen. So, and that was really a big journey of healing for me, to find my soul family, or to find my high vibe tribe. And I know many people that are attracted to my content know that we're all part of this shift in consciousness, and some of you are already more connected into that, into that more like-minded people, and some are not. But the thing is that as you clear through these patterns and as you step more into that version of yourself, you're going to attract more people. There's going to be changes in your circumstances, because as you heal around being understood and understanding yourself, as you heal around the patterns within yourself, around not feeling seen and frustration around that, as you work through that stuff and transmute it, suddenly you are seen, you are understood, you can clearly communicate your gifts. And yes, you can be paid for it. And yes, you can thrive. And yes, you can, like, you have a purpose. And understanding too, like, what I realized through this journey is that, I experienced a complete like major transformation in myself, and the traveling was a big part of it, especially moving here to Sedona for a couple years. I really dialed into that daily meditation practice more deeply, and also realized that as I bridged that, I started getting these downloads from source whenever I would write that down over the years and journal. And whenever I would, because the more you do anything to like make a video or write a song or write it down on any, like on a scratch of paper, or organize it in your computer, you start to get this reflection of your own consciousness. You start to get this reflection of your own creative spark, and it starts to build that momentum, where then I started bridging, getting these inspirations, and then doing something every day, like recording a video or working on a song or working on a program or a course, or taking that next step in the business, and feeling more and more like, as I shifted more into this identity, that it felt more natural for me to speak. It felt more natural for me to share my gifts with you, because that's all this is. It's just life lessons on the soul's journey of evolution, and you've got your own. So this is the new economy. It's a soul economy, and it's one of sourcing it within and realizing your own hero's journey. So, and the way that we really get into that is that we bridge the meditation to the life force cultivation, the clearing work, into our creative practice, and taking inspired action every day, inspired and perfect action every day. And it's perfectly imperfect, because as you allow yourself, that's the other thing, it's like giving, that's what I learned, is like giving myself the permission to be myself, and to lean into this new version of myself. Allow me to get past that perfectionism and self-sabotage and the stop-start that maybe you're experiencing. Because then as you get past that, you get more and more momentum, and then you can actually get to the point of sharing your gifts. So to begin, let's look at, what does it mean to set the frame for your flow? And I want to ask you to tune into yourself and ask, what do you need to do each day to be getting into the flow? What are the steps that you need to take today or each day to be inspired moving towards your vision and in your creative process? And how can you allow yourself to cultivate more of your creative essence? Now, I want you to pause this video and download the worksheet below and fill it in, and this will help you set the frame for your flow. So now we're going to dive into the content of this class. So, like I said at the beginning, the frame is about feeling solid in your own energy. So this really has to do also with the level of identity. What is the level of, do you identify as someone who is confident and who is grounded, but who is also inspired? Or is there also still this old identity or these old energies that come up where you feel ungrounded, and when you feel like you kind of, when you're hanging out with other people, like this is what going out of your frame, it feels like you're not fully advocating for your own needs, or even just sharing your own perspectives on reality. You're kind of get absorbed into other people, or maybe you feel just like overwhelmed by the energy, or like even just like walking through a grocery store is like intense for you. But the thing is that like we can't just be in hermit mode all the time. So going inward into our process is great, and these practices will help to cultivate. At the same time, this is like, it's like a Jedi thing. It's like a Jedi training, because it's like in your everyday life. Like being able to, for example, like if you ever feel that you get a loss of your sense of self in group, when you go into a group setting, or even before you go into a group store, or you go into a grocery store, try dropping your energy, and try it with me right now. Drop your energy into your body, into your cells. Starting at the top of your head, taking a deep breath in, Allow that energy to be drawn down your head, down your neck, down your shoulders, down to the palms of your hands, down your spine and your back, down your chest, down to the root, down to the legs, and down to the feet, and then go down and connect into the core of Mother Gaia. Connect into the core of the earth. Take a deep breath in and just sink as you release your breath. Sink in. Sink into your body. Feel that you are held safe and protected by this connection. And draw and breathe that energy, draw that energy up through the feet, up to the top of the head, and expand and imagine a little thread connecting you up to the universe. And feel yourself connect to Source, connect to your guidance, and now breathe those energies into your heart. Put your hands on your heart, left hand on your heart, right hand over. Taking a deep breath into the heart. Setting the intention to be solid in your own energy. Be safe in your own energy. Clear and protected in your energy field. That only that which is resonant may enter. And that which is not does not affect you. And now slowly open your eyes. Now pay attention to any sensations that are arising or any feeling. Do you feel like maybe it just became a little bit more HD? Like that's what happens for me. It becomes a little bit more like HD, a little bit more 5D. You know, and it's also bringing your awareness into the moment. So how does this relate to our creative process? Well, the thing is that you want to cultivate a solid container in your own energy. So if you're being overwhelmed or if you're leaking energy throughout your day, that's your creative energy. Where's your creative energy going? It's going wherever your attention goes, your energy flows. So you're a conscious creator. And whatever you put your attention on grows. So if we're sloppily just allowing everything to kind of take us, that's kind of what happens when you don't meditate. At least what I see and what I recommend is meditating first thing in the morning, because then you get ahead of the momentum and you set the tone. And when you start the day in the energy that you wish to embody, and then you take the inspired actions to be, do, or have whatever it is that you want, then you're building that momentum. And you're actually enjoying what you're doing. And even finding ways to, like while you're in transition, or maybe you're working a job or a gig or whatever you're doing, to find ways to source your happiness within yourself. Because that's the fastest path to, as well, to the new reality that you want. But wherever you're at, that's what I find is like, how can I bring presence into whatever I'm doing? And the more that I bring presence into the moment and I'm aware of where my energy is going, the more that I'm able to feel more solid in my frame. And now another practice for that is to connect into your own vision, right? And there are different kinds of meditation, right? There's receiving mode meditation, and I would say that is more where you get into a state of receptivity and openness, right? To source energy, to the flow coming through you, to the life force energy. And by focusing on your breath, and this is a tool you can also use through the day, it's like if you start feeling your energy getting scattered or yourself getting off center from the vision, just bringing your awareness to the breath. And then when you do this for 15 to 20 minutes every day, especially right when you wake up in the morning, what that does is that puts you into a state of openness to divine inspiration. Because then once the mind gets quiet, you enter into a state akin to sleep, which is also what prayer brings you to. So, but I find receptive meditation to be the easiest way to get into the flow, because then you'll just get downloads and inspirations, and you'll start activating this appreciation. So active appreciation as well activates that vibration. Appreciation grows that in your experience, and now your focus is more clear for you to be able to envision, to visualize and tap into the vision. And at the end of the class, we'll have a tuning into receiving mode meditation for you to do and try out for 21 days. And what I've experienced is that over the years of doing this, especially in the last 2 years, I've done it pretty much every single morning, or every day, but mainly I do it like right when I wake up, because what I experience is this shift that happens is that it puts you into this state of feeling open to life and feeling appreciation and feeling like you're tapping into the vision, and then you're getting inspired, and then the next steps will come to you, and then you just take those next steps. Okay, and this relates to also setting the frame in your day, in your creative process, because now you want to get clear on what these steps are. So that's what we started to do in that worksheet, is just tapping in and asking the question and then getting the answer. Because as you ask, Source gives you the answer. You already have the answers. You need to tune in and also apply yourself to it. Because the more that we're in that state of inspired action, the more that we, like, that's what I noticed. I start like building that momentum, and I start having new inspirations and ideas, opportunities, and synchronicities start to come in, and you feel yourself in the flow. So the flow is the movement of the fluid, creative energy. It's an essence, right? It's more of that feminine energy, right? And this isn't about so much gender, though. When you when you're a man or woman, you really embody that kind of gender. You typically have more of that masculine or feminine energy. And I understand there's a whole range between, but that's not what I'm getting into. The masculine and feminine energy, right? So as you have the frame, imagine the frame is like a blank canvas, right? The flow is the creative flow that moves through the frame. So also when you set your intentions, you set a clear intention, and you align your energy with the Most High, grounded through your root into the earth, opening your heart, you open the electromagnetic field, and you're connecting to infinite intelligence. You're becoming a conduit. So now you feel more like confident in your own character. And then also your own frame, your frame of perspective is also where the vision flows into what you're creating. Because now that energy, it's like when they say the masculine holds a solid space, the feminine feels safe, right? That's within ourself, right? That's within ourself as well. Because when your own energy is solid, then your own creative essence, that more playful, like you feel like you're fun, it's in the flow, you're having all these ideas, your pen's on the paper, you're creating that content, that next brushstroke is coming to you, that part of that song, like you just feel it. You're in the zone. So, setting the frame for the flow state, this is where consistency and creativity meet, because repetition is the key to success. This also is, like I say, with having a daily practice, spiritual practice, tuning in, right? A practice of embodiment, activating and cultivating your life force, and a creative practice of expressing yourself, expressing your gifts in whatever form that is. Also, the form of whether you're an artist or a teacher or a builder or whatever kind of creator that you are, and no matter what you do, we're all creators. but the way that you create as well, when you incorporate that into your daily practice and you treat it as a part of your spiritual practice, now you're bridging the mind-body connection. Now you're bridging your own spirituality into practicality, because now the downloads that you're getting in your meditation of connecting to God's source are now coming into practical steps that you can apply in your endeavors and in your business and in your creations. So the consistency, right, sets the tone, sets the pace. Like when you do something every day. And for me, that's played out as I'm gonna make content, or I'm going to work on a song, or again, like I'm going to make this art, I'm going to create, like what are you focusing on? I'm gonna make this course, like actually focusing your energy that today on taking an inspired step towards the form, setting the intention, and practicing. And some people, they just like to focus on doing one thing, but sometimes it's like if you're multifaceted, I'm very multifaceted, just do one of them. And then the more you build that, you'll just like you'll have more energy, and you'll be able to do more. You'll be able to do multiple. You'll be able to like kind of fill in your light into the facets. But the more that you're consistent with it, now you have a clear intention, you have an end goal, and now you allow the essence to flow into it. You just devote yourself to it, you trust it, and you allow all the cooperative components, all the inspiration to flow through you in the act of creating, in the act of doing. But as you're doing it, you're allowing yourself to become it and to be it. And so that's the training that mind-body connection, right? And this relates to, again, what happens at the moment when we're going before we go to sleep and the moment right after we wake up is the easiest way to access our subconscious, right? So when you go to sleep, feeling yourself as this new version of yourself, sinking into that feeling state and asking yourself, what would it be like if it were true? What would it feel like had my dreams come true, if my wish was already realized? And then waking up and tuning into that receiving mode meditation, setting that intention and visualization, activating your third eye, opening your heart, and stepping into the flow while feeling solid. It's also processing through those energies, right? Clearing through those blocks, through those shadows, integrating, which we'll get into the next class. But really what that does is in that point of sleep and wake, this is the same thing happens in your brain waves when you go into a state of deep meditation or prayer, or what Neville Goddard called state akin to sleep. And these are technologies of accessing your subconscious. Your subconscious is the creative force. Your subconscious is the link to creator. And so our waves also, they measured this with athletes and high performance and just people who, like if you look at the genius called zone of genius or the flow state, there's a shift in our brain waves. So when we're in a waking mind, super active thinking mind, we're in beta. When you relax deeper, you go into alpha. And then and alpha is like relaxed focus. It's like a great place for study and work. And then when you go into theta, you go into an even deeper state. And that's like the deep state of like meditation, right? And prayer, or like sleep, you go into kind of like theta, and then you go deeper into delta, like in deep sleep. But you kind of want to like relax. So like learning how to relax between beta and alpha in your waking day, because then you can put on meditation tones as well that will put you into alpha while you're studying and creating. And then when you want to go deeper and access your subconscious, reprogram your subconscious, go into theta, right? And go into a state of meditation. And it's easier to do that. It's not good to force it. It's better to do it like if you just feel like taking a nap, or if you feel like, man, you feel like meditating right now. I personally keep a daily practice of doing it in the morning, and then I do it when I feel called to do it, right? Throughout the day. And then I also do the nightly accessing my subconscious, right? As well as the process of clearing. Now, as you clear, you create space. As you reprogram, you shift the identity. And again, I wanted to relate this whole frame and flow, masculine and feminine concept to the concept of the subconscious and the conscious mind, because the subconscious can be likened to the feminine or the receptive. It faithfully produces, like a garden, whatever seeds are planted. The soil need not discriminate. You are the planter of the seeds, the conscious mind. Now, having a loving relationship with your deeper consciousness and loving going into your consciousness, your subconscious, is then creates a shift in your state. Over time becomes natural for you to want to go within, and you fall in love with yourself and with your deeper self, or the subconscious lover. Now, it's like Neville Goddard said, when you go to sleep at night, you're feeling, like you're keeping an appointment with a lover, because you're going, it's like the dream world is the realm into the subconscious. And then the waking world is like the waking dream, or the production upon the screen of space of that which is held in our deeper mind. And so as you go within, that's also that place of where the clearing and the letting go of what no longer serves creates also putting your focus on that, putting your focus on the seeds which you do wish to sow as you reap, and you sow what you would like to reap, because automatically whatever is sowed will be reaped. And so being the gardener of your own mind. And then as you start to go into these practices, right, as you go to sleep, as you start to shift on the level of identity, take a look at what you believe to be true about yourself, and introduce the concept that you are someone who is regularly in the flow state. Introduce the self-concept that you are someone who is inspired when you wake up in the morning. Envision it, feel it as if it's already done, and so it is. And so it is true, and you will become that version of yourself with some practice. So, and incorporating, this is why I say daily practice, because it's about embodying it, feeling it in your body, will balance these energies, right? So it's like firm yet adaptable. And also in your own creative process, you can play with these energies, like the frame and the fluid, or the flow. The solid and the fluid, the frame and the flow, right? Play with these energies in yourself, right? Kind of feel into the energy. What does the solid energy feel like? What does the fluid energy feel like? What does the flow feel like? And it's also like movement is so great. Dance, ecstatic dance is so great for that, exploring that, as well as Qigong. But we're not getting into that in this short course. So, and then carve out some time, especially after you tune in the morning. And even if that involves waking up earlier, I know. But then again, if you shift the identity of someone who likes to wake up early, then, you'll want to wake up early, and then carve out some time to get into your creative practice, get into your creative flow. Maybe you'll get some downloads, write them down. Maybe you get an inspiration to, what's that next step? Take that step. Initiate the energy. And the more that you initiate, and the more that you invest in yourself, in your own self-development, the more that you build that trust and confidence and lean into that version of you. And meditation is the transformation, because awareness is the conduit. I've experienced such profound transformation just through different practices of going deeper into my consciousness and working with my vibration. So so the homework for today is to download the MP3 below and try out this tuning into receiving mode meditation. I recommend doing it first thing in the morning for 21 days. and this will help you open up to your connection to source. And then as you get those inspirations, and that inspiration as well as what I wanted to say is that as you are in the clear channel and the clear state, inspiration is also means etymologically the in-breath of spirit. So life force energy, like they call it kind of like chi or prana or different things in different cultures, but breath, the breath of life, the breath of energy. That's why I say pay attention to your breath, not your thoughts. If you try to pay attention to your thoughts while you're meditating, I do this sometimes just because my mind wanders, but it'll drive me crazy. I'm talking about the thought patterns. There's a difference between the thought patterns and when you focus on the breath and you get into that clear space and you feel the energy flowing through you, the source energy, then you'll feel it. You'll start to notice that shift where it's kind of like your antenna comes online and you start feeling like you feel the inspiration flowing into you and through you and activating your vision, activating your third eye. And now suddenly, instead of trying to visualize, appreciation fills in the grid for you with the vision. Like you're receiving the vision, you're receiving the life vision, you're receiving the divine blessing of the purpose of which you are called with the passion, the burning desire to fulfill it, and the direct guidance from infinite intelligence of the next steps to take. So try it out, and the synchronicities will happen that correspond to the new reality as you shift in that version of yourself. It's really amazing how it sets the tone for the day. Your day, I'm telling you, the more that you practice this, it smooths your vibration, it raises your vibration, and then you're at a new set point, and now like your synchronicities and your outer reality start to change. You become more magical and you start to become more creative. And of course you become more creative. I'm not even really teaching you like how to enhance your creativity here. I'm telling you that the creativity within you is your true nature. And that as we do these practices, we unleash that energy within us. We awaken the sleeping giant. We connect into our inner genius. And so, go download that meditation, try it out for 21 days. I guarantee you, it will have a profound shift. And if it doesn't, I'm surprised, honestly. And honestly, I am so happy to have you join me here for the Frame to Flow course, Set Your Frame to Flow State. And make sure to tune in after you've gone and checked that out to the next video where we'll be diving into more of the clearing work. Peace.